So let's talk about your post-launch email sequence. So you might be thinking, like, what's a post-launch email sequence? Or even before that, why does it matter? Why should you have one? Why should you care? It's super, super important for a number of reasons. So first of all, for clients, you want to really reinforce they made the right decision. So as soon as someone clicks that buy button, the buyer's remorse tends to kick in and they worry that they didn't make the right decision. So you need to reinforce that they made the right decision in buying from you. You want to encourage them to consume your product and get results. Because for most of us, the real way that you're going to grow your business is by people use your product, they get great results, and they tell other people about it. That is, from the start, that has been the number one driver of my success with my brand, with Product Launch Formula, is because people get Product Launch Formula and they get big results, and then they tell their friends about it. The world sees what they're doing. They tell me about it. We do case studies. It's just this virtuous cycle of the more results they get, the better it is for all of us, including me and my business. You want to welcome them into your world. You want to let them know that they are now part of your community, part of your world. You want to answer some of the common questions that keep on coming up because that's just going to help them move forward. It's going to help your customer service people from having to answer all these questions over and over. You want to build and deepen your relationship with them. And that the follow-up sequence for clients is absolutely one of the most high leverage places where you can spend time in your business. It will help reduce refunds if you put together a good follow-up sequence, and it will increase back-end sales. So the way this works is we're talking about the world of what's known as direct marketing. That's sort of an old school term, but this is direct marketing. And in direct marketing, where you really become profitable is in your back-end products. In other words, the products you sell after you make your first sale to your clients. That's where the real revenue is. And by nurturing and taking care of your new buyers, your new clients, it will increase your back-end sales. Because remember, a client is worth 15 to 20 times more than a prospect. In other words, someone comes into your world, they just join your list, but they haven't bought from you, and you take that person and compare it to someone who's made their first purchase from you. Going forward, you'll make 15 to 20 times more sales on average to someone who has already bought from you. That's why it's super important to have this new client nurture sequence, this post-launch follow-up sequence. Now, on the other side of the coin, that everything I just talked about was for new buyers. But after you go through a launch, a lot of the people, most of the people, the majority of the people will not have bought from you. So they're still prospects, but they're new to your world and they're still super valuable. They're not as valuable as a new buyer, but they're still super valuable. So you want to keep them engaged and warm. They just went through your launch sequence. They think you're awesome. That's the reality, is after someone goes through your pre-launch, if you've done it right, they're going to love you. And you want to keep them engaged, you want to keep them warm, you want to build a relationship with them. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the strategies you'll use in your post-launch email sequence. So for clients, the first thing you do is you move them off your launch list and onto your buyers list. Your launch, in other words, you're taking them from being a prospect to being a buyer. Now, every email system is different, and there's going to be different mechanics around this. And in reality, this is almost old school the way I put that, because in most years ago, most email systems would have discrete lists. There's this list of these people that are your prospects and this list that people are your buyers. These days, it's generally done through a tag. So it will be one big list, but you'll have some people tagged as being buyers or owners. That's how we refer to people in my business. They're Product Launch Formula owners. And so the key is that you now have a different relationship with your clients than you do with your prospects. And you need to treat them different. So you want to be able to segregate them and email to them separately. Now, during your program rollout, so now they've bought from you, and now you're rolling your program out. And many programs are rolled out like Product Launch Formula in like a class, like a college class. And during that program rollout, you want to be very careful about sending other promotions for other products that you have or other products that other people have. Because in my world, we're on the product launch formula train. All roads lead to getting people through product launch formula, to get them to consume the product and take them all the way through that. So I don't want to distract them with other emails for other promotions. Now, it doesn't mean you never, ever, ever do this, but you just have to be very careful about it. You want to create an onboarding sequence. So you want to think very carefully about what their first experience is as they go through your program. What are those first emails that they're going to get? You want that sequence to be planned out. And you want that customized to whatever your offer is. So you don't just want to have the same onboarding sequence for every if you have a bunch of different products, you don't want the same onboarding sequence for every offer. They can be similar. The overall strategy behind them and the psychology behind them could be similar, but they want to be customized for whatever they just bought. You want to always be asking for feedback. Your new buyers are super important to you. You want to ask for their feedback and keep them engaged. You want to automate your follow-up. So you don't want to have to be reinventing the wheel every time you launch a given product. So you want that follow-up to be automated. But you do want to monitor it. You want to look at what people are opening and what they're clicking on and use that to adjust your sequence to make it better. And you want to be reading their feedback. So in other words, don't just ask for their feedback, actually read their feedback, because this will help you make your business better. It's super, super important feedback. Now, for prospects, the thing is, you got to ask, where are you going to point them to next? And actually, you can ask that same thing for your new buyers as well, but initially, you're going to be taking them through your product and the whole product experience, and then thinking about where you're going to point them next. But for prospects, they didn't buy from you. So they just went through your launch. They went through your pre-launch content. You have a warm relationship. They love you, but they've also just gone through your open cart where you've sent a whole bunch of emails. So the question is, what are you going to point them to next? So I like to have some type of a nurture sequence where, so in other words, think back. They just went through your pre-launch. Okay, you have a massive value during your pre-launch. Now they went through your open cart. You sent them a bunch of emails, pushing pretty hard to make the sale. Now I like to back up and give them more value. So I usually send 2 or 3 great videos, follow-up videos to them that are picked out. Exactly what videos do I want them to see after they go through that launch experience with me. And then you might want to consider a downsell or some other offer. So a downsell would be another offer for something that's less expensive than your original offers. The idea is, if they're reading your emails, if they love you, maybe the reason they didn't buy is because they had some sticker shock. They thought the price was too high. They couldn't afford it. So consider a downsell or some other type of offer. You could also run them through an evergreen launch for another product. So if you have an evergreen launch going for another product, then you could run them through that sequence. And then I think everyone should have some type of a flagship content piece that you're sending out at least weekly. So for me, at the current time, I publish a new video every week. It's just a free video. I put it on my blog and I email my list to it. So this is just an ongoing way to continue to foster that relationship I have with the new people. Now, if you're taking them through an evergreen sequence, normally I would send a nurture sequence of a couple of videos. Then I would either do a downsell or another offer or an evergreen launch for another product. And if I'm not in one of those offers, then they're automatically getting that flagship piece of content to keep up that relationship. The thing you don't want to do is wait until your next launch to be in touch with them, to email them. You don't want to go through this idea of, like, you do this launch, you give great value, and then you do the open cart, you send a whole bunch of emails, and then boom, it's radio silence for 6 months until your next launch. And then all of a sudden you ramp up all the emails. That's not the way to do it. Follow this plan so you have an ongoing relationship with your new prospects. So let's walk through some examples of your post-launch email sequence. So these are just some examples of what to mail or how to communicate when someone buys from you. So first of all, it's that initial email, which I take some real time and effort and put real time and effort into that, which is just a thank you email or a welcome email. And this is where you want to tell them what to do next, what to expect, how to set their password, how to create their profile, when their order is going to ship if you're shipping out a physical product, and how to get support. Super important. If you've got problems, this is how you get support. You want to introduce, you basically tell them how to get involved in the community if you have a community aspect of your offer. The thing that stops people from getting involved in the community is their very first step. The very first step, which is usually introducing themselves. And if you can get people to take that first step, then you go a long ways towards creating that community and getting the individuals involved in your community. You also want to answer common questions. You want to just reinforce their purchasing decision. Remember, this is the time when buyer's remorse kicks in. So point out some of the key elements of the product that will get them results. You want to create a drip email sequence for if you have an online course that's dripping out content that's giving people sort of a new module or a new section each week or every number of days or whatever, similar to the way we do PLF. You want to create that sequence, and so you don't want to be having to do that every single time you launch. You want to do that once. And you want to keep on re-engaging people and reminding people and supporting people and taking action. You always want to be getting feedback from your clients. I'm a huge fan of getting the feedback. And you want to build in regularly asking for case studies and testimonials within all your communications. Because this goes back to, the earlier I talked about, in the last video I talked about, it's this virtuous cycle of getting people to consume your product, take action, get results, and tell others and tell you about those results. That's how I've built my business from the start. So let's take a look at the sequence I've got for PLF owners. Here's a partial look at our sequence. This isn't the entire sequence, but this just shows you. So first of all, we have a welcome and a login details. And so this is all just built in Google Docs. And this is how we work within my team, because I now have a big team and a lot of people are working on these things. And so this is the way everyone can see everything else. So there's just a table up at the top, and that links down to all of the documents down below. So first of all is a welcome, and here's the login details. So here it is. Welcome to Product Launch Formula, and I've got to say this is an awesome day to be you. So I am all about actually creating, it's not like an unbelievable amount of personality here, but there's a little bit of personality in that. And so that's the thing that goes out immediately. And then after they log in, and this is all the technology set up to do this, but the technology, so after they log in for the first time, then they get this welcome message. And this is just a little bit longer, and this is actually selling them on the power of this. It's just how incredibly powerful Product Launch Formula is. And a little bit of a personal thank you. I know it's a big leap of faith to sign up, but if you work it, it's going to work for you. And oh, by the way, here's how to get a hold of customer service. So if we scroll back up, so that's what they have to first log in. Then they'll get this shortly after, and here's just this note is encouragement and mental game. And so this is something a lot of people miss out on, because almost all of us, we have to do some amount of personal development in our product. There has to be something that gets people's inner game going, because you can give people the greatest strategies and tactics in the world, but if you don't move their mental game forward, they're probably not going to get results. So this is some quick head start advice, and here it is. It's like this was posted by a PLF owner on how to get the most out of Product Launch Formula. And here we just walk through the things that are really important. Get involved in the community. Get involved in the community. Trust the process. It's worked all over for people in all kinds of markets and businesses. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed. So this is talking specifically to inner game, to the mental game. repetition, mother of all achievement, which it couldn't be more true. It couldn't be more true. And you need to tell people that. Take advantage of the resources that you have. Take advantage of the foundational material. So this is just sort of some basic, really it's inner game, how to succeed kind of stuff. It's super important you build this into your program. Here, this is, we're highlighting bonuses. So this all actually happens during that first purchase, before we actually even release module 1, we highlight these mini modules. And then we start to get in the program. We release module 1. Later on in that week, we talk about one of the features within module 1. And then for people that didn't open one of these 2 emails, we mail them this, which is basically, it's to re-engage people. So if we click down there, and this is remember, this is going out to people who haven't engaged yet. So those are the people that are at risk. So I opened up module 1. Have you checked it out yet? It's basically just reselling the click, getting people to engage. Getting people to engage who haven't engaged yet. And then it's the same thing. Module 2 is live. And then a highlight of something in module 2. And then if people haven't opened one of those 2, here's this going out to re-engage people, the people that haven't opened yet. And then module 3 and so on. So that's sort of, that's what that sequence, or the beginning of our new owner sequence, looks like. And then finally, after that owner sequence is up, and for us, it goes on for a long time. It goes on for a couple of months. Product Launch Program is a big program. After that, you don't want to forget about them. Just like you didn't want to forget about your prospects, you don't want to forget about your owners. So continue. I love to offer challenges to them. Sometimes we do case study challenges. You want to continue to check in with them. We offer surprise bonuses that keep on coming. And then we put them on our normal sequence of emails, which again for me is a regular weekly video. And then you want to consider promoting additional offers. They could be your additional products you have. They could be coaching. They could be upsells, or they could be affiliate offers. But that whole question is, where are you going to point them to now?